What a dramatic scene that was at the Millennium Stadium as Chelsea escaped a scar from Wolverhampton Wanderers in a 7-goal thriller to actually book a place in the quarterfinal of the EFL Cup. It was indeed a scene of two parts, well-written script in the first half and another script written in the second half. The major character talking about Enzo Maresca and his team in the first half, well-understood script, came into the game with high intensity and actually dominated play in the first half of that particular encounter. It was a well-written script which everyone actually expected, because we all know Wolverhampton Wanderers has been in a mess all through season. A side in the Premier League team that are only waiting for round of 38 matches to end and to find themselves in the Championship playing football next season. But then, the drama at the Millennium Stadium last night was one that actually kept majority of Chelsea fans, majority of Chelsea faithful, wondering what is Chelsea actually turning into. The good thing about the game last night was that we actually won in that 7-goal thriller. We actually won. We booked a place in the quarterfinal. But going into the game, one actually expected Enzo Maresca to actually rotate the players from the squad or from the team that actually played against Sunderland over the weekend, and we lost that game by 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. And coming into the EFL Cup game last night, Enzo Maresca made 10 changes as against the team that started against Sunderland. And it was quite expected. In goal was Philip Jorgensen. The fullback was Jorge Ato and Malu Gusto, while the centre-back pairing was George Achampong and Dosina Darabello. In my opinion, I never actually expected George Achampong to be part of that game, because currently, if we take a look at the players we have as centre-backs, I think George Achampong is actually one hope that we currently have, and is always seen as a starter in the absence of Levi Colwell. So the midfield pivot, we actually saw Enzo Maresca came up with something that actually looked like a like-for-like replacement for Moses Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez, talking about Romeo Lavia and Andre Santos. The three attacking midfield trio, the left wing was Jimmy Gittins, the central attacking midfield was Facundo Bonanote, while the right wing was Gustavo Willian. Up front was Derek George. Another surprise selection for me that Enzo Maresca actually made in that particular encounter. I thought, having reported that Liam Delap is fit and available for selection, one would have hoped that Mark Dew would have made that team, because I don't see the number of matches, how many minutes Mark Dew have actually had for him to have been rested for that particular encounter. But all same, Derek George turned out to put up a super performance and actually getting a goal to his credit. Now, Chelsea went into that game against struggling Wolves, and one actually expected that Chelsea would have run riot out of the struggling Wolverhampton Wanderers, who have actually been two-faced-sided team all through this season. So far, Wolverhampton Wanderers, the only side yet to pick a win in the Premier League this season, having played 9 games and have actually picked only 2 points, drawing against Brighton and against Tottenham Hotspur. They have lost 7 of that particular encounter. But coming into the cup game yesterday, in round 2 and round 3, that is the only place Wolverhampton Wanderers has actually had 2 wins this season, as they defeated West Ham in round 2 by 3-2, and were better off against David Moyes' Everton in round 3 by 2-0. But their current form has been nothing to write home about, as in the league they have been struggling to actually pick points. So Chelsea came into this game, and with Enzo Maresca making 10 changes as against the team that played against Sunderland, and Chelsea began the game with a very high tempo. Full of concentration, well built up of play into that particular game. And in the 5th minute, Jimmy Gittins, who have actually been in hot form all through the game last night, laid a superb pass for Andre Santos, and Chelsea took the lead at the 5th minute, courtesy of pass from Jimmy Gittins. And Andre Santos actually got his first Chelsea goal last night, giving Chelsea the lead. And Chelsea continued total dominance in that particular encounter last night. And in the 15th minute, Jimmy Gittins again with a beautiful footwork at the edge of the box and with a super cross. And Tariq George was just very close to tap that into the net. Chelsea went up 2-0 after 15 minutes in that particular encounter. And Chelsea maintained total dominance in that particular game with high pressing football, pushing the struggling Wolverhampton Wanderers behind their own box, while Chelsea creates more chances. We're having good time in the game, possessing the game and also maintaining high concentration with high level of creativity, and Jimmy Gittins being very instrumental in that particular game. And in the 41st minute, Andre Santos with a well-timed tackle on a loose ball from the pass of Wolverhampton Wanderers goalkeeper to their midfielder, and Andre Santos with a well-timed tackle actually timed that tackle, and the loose ball was picked by Estavo William, the young Brazilian talent, who actually chipped the ball over the Wolverhampton goalkeeper to give Chelsea a 3-goal lead. Jersey number 41, talking about Estavo Williams, scored Chelsea's third goal in that particular encounter at the 41 minute. It was a beautiful goal scored by Estavo Williams, and it was expected because a game like this shouldn't be much of a concern for the Brazilian youngsters. So Chelsea were in total control of the game, and the first half of that particular encounter ended 3-0 in favor of Chelsea. So Chelsea went into the break with a commanding 3-0 lead in round 4 of that EFL Cup tie. Coming into the second half, the Wolverhampton manager Pereira made 2 good changes coming into that particular encounter. And the more reason I said it was it was a scene of 2 parts, talking about the drama that went down at the Millennium Stadium. First half, Chelsea controlled the game completely, dominating play and getting and winning possession of balls of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolverhampton Wanderers came into the second half of that particular encounter like a wounded lion. They came in like a team that know that we have nothing to lose. Okay, let's just go and enjoy football. We are 3 goals down already. After the manager made 2 good substitutes, Wolverhampton Wanderers began to look like a team with much of an attacking threat. And Chelsea, at this point in time, were looking like a team. Were looking different from the team that actually played the first half of that particular game. And the character that actually displayed or acted the script in the first half by the manager now look different, like a team who doesn't understand the script of the manager that is being written in the second half of this particular encounter. Wolverhampton Wanderers, after their substitute, were looking more convincing with much of an attacking threat going forward. And in the 48th minute, Alukodare, who have actually had 2 shots on target and 2 shots off target in that particular encounter, after a loose ball from Facundo Bernanote in the middle of the park, took that loose ball. Wolverhampton Wanderers took the loose ball, lay a pass to Alukodare, and from the left side position, Alukodare with a powerful strike, giving Wolverhampton Wanderers 1 goal into the game. So Chelsea, on the other hand, now looking panic. The manager quickly made 3 substitutes, bringing on Marco Corella, Enzo Fernandez, and Liam Delap, who have actually returned from injury, and took off Estavo William, and took off Estavo, Romeo Latvia, and Malo Gusto from that particular encounter. So Chelsea began to look more like a team who actually started the first half. But then the Wolverhampton Wanderers side never actually gave up. They continued to press hard, and in the 77th minute, Wolford got the second goal in that particular encounter, brought Wolverhampton Wanderers back into the game. And this is where the game began to look very, very dicey for Chelsea. Coming into this game, I definitely know it was going to be a very tricky clash. And having gotten the second goal in that particular encounter, Enzo Maresca quickly made another substitution, bringing in Moses Caicedo, taking off Facundo Bernanote in order to create a balance in that particular game. Chelsea, on the other hand, all through the second half, Chelsea were not looking organized at all. And in the 89th minute, Jorel Ato contested a duel, which will actually head from the left corner of the field towards the angle of Jimmy Gittins. And Jimmy Gittins, in between four Wolverhampton Wanderers defenders, hit a powerful strike and that ball went directly into the net. And Chelsea were 4-2 up. But then, Jimmy Gittins' goal did not last 40 seconds when Wolverhampton Wanderers actually pulled one back to make it 4-3. And Chelsea began to struggle in that particular encounter until the 90th minute. And in that particular encounter, 7th minute added time in that particular encounter, and Wolverhampton Wanderers continued to press in that particular game. But Chelsea tried as much as they can to hold on to that particular lead. And that was how Chelsea booked a place in the quarterfinal of the EFL Cup after a 7-goal thriller at the Millennium Stadium, defeating struggling Wolverhampton Wanderers by 4-3. But then, the game left us with lots of talking points. And the first talking point in this particular game was the indiscipline of the player. Chelsea now have gone 9 games in a row, and out of that 9 games, 6 games Chelsea have seen red card. So in the last 9 games, Chelsea have been booked 6 times, and that actually calls for concern. It's now beginning to look like Chelsea is now a red card FC. Liam Delap came into the game in the 61st minute, and in the 79th minute, Liam Delap was booked for an argument off the ball. That was uncalled for. Liam Delap was not under any pressure, was not having any goal opportunity, but Liam Delap engaged in an argument and was shown a yellow card for argument. And minutes later, in the 88th minute, Liam Delap committed off the ball foul, which was uncalled for. It was not necessary. And Liam Delap was shown a second yellow card and was sent off. What a stupid thing for Liam Delap to do. This is a player who actually came back from injury, and we are glad that going into Tottenham Hotspur game, we actually have an option up front going into that particular encounter. But yes, Liam Delap, with his stupid and indisciplined act, actually got booked and sent off for a red card. And now, he has cost us that one man that should have given us an additional strength up front going into the game against Tottenham by the weekend. I mean, the act of indiscipline of Liam Delap, in my opinion, should not go unpunished. Liam Delap needs to be punished in that particular with that particular action of his, because what we saw there, this is someone that is acting like Diego Costa, but behaving in Nicholas Jackson's shell. The same thing Nicholas Jackson did when he was in Chelsea, I think last season, against Newcastle. He got sent off, and Chelsea struggled, lost that particular encounter, I think by 3-0. And also in the Club World Cup, coming back from injury, Nicholas Jackson came in as a substitute. Within the space of minutes, Nicholas Jackson was sent off. That is the same attitude that Liam Delap actually showed up against Wolverhampton Wanderers last night. Came in as a substitute in the 61st minute, and in the 89th minute, Liam Delap was given a matching order, and he was out in that particular encounter. That was actually uncalled for. It shows a very high rate of indiscipline among the players, and Enzo Maresca need to actually take strict measure in situations like this. It was actually uncalled for. Liam Delap never needed those challenges on those players in order to get sent off in that particular game. Now he will miss the match against Tottenham Hotspur. He will definitely miss the match. Coming back from injury was a thing of joy to majority of us as Chelsea fans, knowing fully well that Liam Delap is back. But then he came back and he was sent off with a red card from the match last night. I mean, a couple of players just definitely need to be praised in that particular game last night. Even though the first half of that particular game produced some kind of total dominance for Chelsea and scintillating performance from the players, but the second half, Chelsea was very shambolic. But then, if we look at the performance of the players, George Ajampong and Tosin Adarabioyo yesterday was not a good blend of centre-back for Chelsea Football Club. I mean, both actually make mistakes. The first goal scored by Wolverhampton Wanderers was the mistake of the centre-back. George Achampong and Tosin Adarabioyo were close to each other with no distance from the centre-back, and that was how Aroko Dari was free, getting that first goal that actually put Wolverhampton Wanderers on track in that particular encounter. The pairing, the midfield pairing of Romeo Lavia and Andre Santos was was a beauty to see. And it has actually given Enzo Maresca and Chelsea one breed of another aspect we can be looking up to. Because, their pairing, the chemistry was awesome. The way they link up play and the way Romeo Lavia actually made sure every vacuum was blocked was a beauty to see. Both pairing, their understanding was top-notch. It was good to see the way Andre Santos and Romeo Lavia actually handled the midfield of that particular game in the first half of that encounter. And that was what led to Andre Santos getting his first goal in Chelsea colour. It was beauty to see Andre Santos, the Brazilian, getting his first goal for Chelsea. And one man that actually put up the man of the match performance, talking about Jimmy Gittins, Jimmy Gittins was on fire. I don't know who the right back of Wolverhampton Wanderers was, but then Jimmy Gittins was having a fun night in that particular game. At every given ball, he was having a free ride against the right back of Wolverhampton Wanderers, producing 2 assists in that particular game, and also get on the score sheet with a screamer. That was the beauty of the goal scored by Jimmy Gittins at the 89th minute. What would have looked like what Chelsea would take a 4-2 win, but then it wasn't it, as Wolverhampton Wanderers still pulled one back after Jimmy Gittins got that particular goal. And also the Brazilian youngster, talking about Gustavo Willian, getting a goal in such a beautiful fashion. It was good to see. A couple of players actually came up to the occasion in that particular game. But much of the concern Chelsea is having this season is our centre backs. Believe me, we don't have a centre back pairing. What we saw yesterday was diabolical. That was not the defense line. 3 times in a game we have conceded from a long throw. How else can we be talking about this? We don't have centre back pairing. Area duels, we are not there to actually challenge for area duels. But then the performance of the team was awful in the second half. But the only joy and positive we take away from that game was just that we book a place in the quarterfinal of that particular encounter going forward. Enzo Maresca should learn to kill off game in a beautiful fashion. The first half was good to see. The chemistry, the bond, the understanding, the concentration was high. But in the second game, it was like something was turned off from the players. And the performance we saw in the second half was uncalled for. And if this is what Chelsea will continue to be putting up, we're going nowhere with this kind of centre-back defending in this campaign this season. So there is a lot of work to do, and Chelsea need to enter the transfer market in January to get an experienced centre-back. Currently, as it stands, Chelsea is struggling defense-wise. Chelsea is struggling. We don't expect. I never expected Wolverhampton Wanderers to come back into the second half and put up such performance against Chelsea, a team that is struggling in the league, and yet to get a goal. To get a single win from the Premier League campaign this season. Came into the game in the second half and actually put up a superb performance. They actually won the second half in that particular game by 3-1, as Chelsea won the first half 3-0, and that was how the game ended 4-3 in favor of Chelsea. So the performance in the second half and the centre-back pairing was, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. Chelsea are actually facing crisis when it comes to centre-back pairing. What I saw with Tosin Adarabioyo last night, Tosin is gradually becoming a squad player. Is gradually becoming a squad player in the absence of Trevor Chalobah or Bernard Badiachile or Wesley Fofana. That is when Tosin Adarabioyo can be considered, and that is what is gradually becoming. And he was the team captain last night, but his performance in the second half of that game was actually awful. It was awful. Tosin Adarabioyo can no longer contest for area duel. When was the last time we actually won area duels in matches? That was how we struggled with area duels against Lincoln in round 3 of the EFL Cup. That was how we struggled with area duels. We find it difficult to win area duels against Brentford. We end up drawing that game 2-2. The same thing with Manchester United. It was uncalled for. And finally, before I actually end this video, with the red card of Liam Delap, if that of Robert Sanchez against Manchester United can be forgiven, if that of Trevor Chalobah against Brighton and Hove Albion can be forgiven, if that of Joao Pedro against Benfica can be forgiven, this particular red card of Liam Delap should not go unpunished. Liam Delap deserves to be punished. in order to set a precedent that there are some tackles, some card players will receive. They are actually uncalled for. And exactly what Liam Delap did. Those cards were uncalled for. And now he has put us at a disadvantage going into the game against Spurs. It would have been better, we keep hearing he's coming back pretty soon, than coming back and missing the game by the weekend against Tottenham Hotspur. An all-important trip that Chelsea will be traveling to face Tottenham at White Hart Lane. I mean, it was actually uncalled for. Other matches that went down in the EFL Cup last night saw Arsenal Football Club defeat Brighton by 2-0. Manchester City were 3-1 better off of Swansea City. Liverpool lost at home 3-0 to Crystal Palace, while Cardiff City on Tuesday defeated Wrexham by 2-1. And also Chelsea defeated Wolverhampton Wanderers by 4-3. So, in the quarter-final period, Arsenal will host Crystal Palace, City will host Brentford, Newcastle United versus Fulham, while Chelsea will take a trip to Cardiff City in the quarter-final. So, I mean, it was a favorable draw for Chelsea, I must say, in that particular quarter-final draws of the EFL Cup. So, what do you make of that game against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Millennium Stadium? Drop your thoughts down below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and catch you in my next video. Bye.